You know, it's fragrances like this one that really reminds me why I love fragrances and why I review fragrances and why I do what I do. You know, it's easy to get into kind of a rut of smelling these fragrances and they all smell the same, and, you know, it gets kind of boring, and it's like, this isn't even that much fun, really. It's kind of what I start to think, and I'm sure you guys can relate to it as well. Smelling a lot of stuff that smells the same, and you're always looking for that next thing, that next fragrance to really kind of ignite that fire again and remind you why you collect fragrances and why you enjoy this hobby. And this is kind of one of those scents that does that for me. I give this one a spray and I smell it and I'm like, this is something that to me smells truly amazing, and it's why I kind of started doing this in the first place. Of course, that scent is going to be Givenchy Gentleman Only. I've already featured it in quite a few of my videos here recently, and it kind of dawned on me that I haven't shot a review on this one yet, you know, just a full-on, good old-fashioned, dedicated review, so I'm going to go ahead and knock this out. I'm going to give you my full thoughts on this scent, tell you how it smells, how it performs when you can wear it, and ultimately, if I think it's worth purchasing. I'm sure by the little speech I just gave, you probably know the answer to that one already. Let's go and jump into it. Givenchy Gentleman Only. This fragrance came out in 2013, so it is not by any means a new scent, but for whatever reason, it's not talked about all that much, and I don't really know why. I've seen it mentioned here and there, but it's just not anything that's, you know, being talked about a lot or being hyped up or anything. Maybe it was in 2013, but I haven't seen anything about it here recently. And we all know fragrances that were released even, you know, far before 2013 still get talked about a lot. So it's not that this fragrance is getting older that's not talked about. I truly think this one might be a little bit underrated and, you know, a little bit underappreciated. And I want to change that and have you guys go out and give this one a shot because it's a nice one. When you spray this one on in the opening, what you're going to get hit with right away is this nice, vibrant citrus. Now, I get a lot of like a fruitiness here, and mainly what it's going to be is this orange note. It's a bit creamy, it's a bit bright, kind of giving it almost a bit of like a gourmandish type of smell, kind of like in scents like Allure Homme Edition Blanche or in Lacoste L'Homme. There's something about the way when orange is used like that, it just gives it a bit of an edibleness going on, like a creaminess going on, and I like that a lot. I love the opening of this scent. Following that orange, you're going to get some vetiver, you're going to get a bit of a red pepper spicy kick. You also get just a little bit of a smokiness, and I think part of that's coming from the fact that there is incense listed as a note in here, so that makes sense. But also to me, it almost comes across like a smoky vetiver, like, you know, some of that smoke is coming from the vetiver and not just the incense. If you take a look at the note breakdown as well, there's also birch, and that's a fragrance note, of course, used heavily in scents like Creed Aventus, or at least it used to be. Reformulations and all that stuff have changed it, but that's kind of a note that, again, gives it a little bit of this smokiness, this woody, masculine quality, and it's one of those things where it really is a distinct smell, and when it's utilized in fragrances, especially, you know, how it is in here, it really makes it stand apart, and it immediately just kind of gives the scent like a bit of a magic and, you know, sets it apart than a lot of the other things out there. So that opening is definitely captivating, from the nice, juicy, vibrant orange to some of the heavier, woody notes. You have a nice combination going on here. You have something for the citrus lovers, and you have something for people who love some of the woodier, darker, and somewhat dry type of fragrances as well. There's some nutmeg in there in the opening, which plays a role in the spiciness as well, especially when you first spray it on. All of this kind of falls on a nice, clean musk, which is kind of typical, right? You have some woods, you have some citruses, and kind of a musky backbone. That's kind of the road that this fragrance follows here. You know, it's not a dirty, heavy musk. It's just kind of a clean, light, fuzzy type of musk, which all of these notes kind of rest on top of. Overall, that gives it a pretty wearable, a pretty mass appealing DNA. You know, it could kind of start to go in a bit of a different direction here when you're playing with notes like vetiver and incense and, you know, even the nutmeg. You know, you can take this fragrance in a completely different direction and create something that's, you know, a lot more niche smelling, that's going to be not as mass appealing because it's just going to smell a bit different. However, Givenchy played it safe, and they kind of kept it more on the mass appealing side, which was a good move. That's smart of them, right? There's Givenchy. This is their Givenchy Gentleman line, which is going to be a line that's sold a lot in a lot of department stores, and, you know, it's going to be something where a lot of people are going to pick it up and expect to smell good to others, and that's what this fragrance is going to do. What I love so much about this one is the fact that it does kind of ride that line of being something a bit different and unique and refreshing. When you're wearing this one out, no one's going to be turning their nose up to it and thinking it smells bad or weird, right? It still has just that kind of compliment getting DNA just kind of buried in there. So overall, from opening to dry down, it's a great scent. And like I said, there's something about this one that I just love, and I think it does deserve some more love and attention, because it's a nice scent that if you put this in your collection, you'll find yourself reaching for it just to kind of switch it up, get into something that's a little bit different, because nothing really smells like this one. So when can you wear Givenchy Gentleman Only? This is a really good spring, somewhat of a summer and fall type of fragrance in my opinion. Really more or less kind of the transitional seasons, so spring and fall, when you have just kind of a neutral temperature where it's not blazing hot and miserable, but it's not freezing cold, and it's really hard to get fragrances to work when it's super, super cold. Just kind of right in that middle ground where it's got a little bit of a chill in the air, which will kind of tame down the the incense, the vetiver in here, but you also have just a little bit of warmth, which will kind of help that orange and other citrus open up and develop. So I would say right there is going to be the sweet spot for this one. However, because it is such a versatile type of scent DNA, and again, vetiver, orange, musk, a little bit of incense, right, pepper, that's a pretty broad spectrum of notes, and it's something that can work for a broad spectrum of situations and seasons. Realistically, this could be an all year round fragrance. This could be a signature scent fragrance if you wanted it to be. However, if you are someone, with a larger collection, you have some more specialty fragrances which are really, really suited for winter or for summer and so on, this one I think would be best for spring and fall. But again, if you are someone who's just going to keep your collection relatively modest, only have a handful of scents, this could be one that you can wear year round. In terms of situations, this can be anywhere from casual to semi-formal. I wouldn't dress it up all the way. This isn't something I would wear to, like a really high-end suit and tie event, or it's not something I would wear on a date or anything. But, you could wear it dressed up a bit more if you're going to work, you work in an office job, a nice place, or whatever. This type of scent will work great for that. I do think there are better options for more formal wear or for date fragrances, but for the most part, this will cover about everything you need it to cover. Compliment factor on this one is going to be great as well. I mean, look, this is a Givenchy fragrance right in there, $50 price point on discount websites, right? This is a fragrance that's going to be mass appealing, that's going to smell good to people. What's nice about this one and what works in your favor is that it is different, right? It's not going to be something that everyone has smelled before a million times, 1 million and Sauvage and all of these fragrances that people are familiar with. This is going to be working well for you because it's going to have that head-turning effect where you walk by, someone's going to smell you and turn their head and think, oh, that's something different. I've never smelled that before. And you'll find that happening a lot with a scent like this. It's really going to intrigue people, and then the more they smell it, the more they're going to really start to like it, and it just works out from there. So that's kind of why this fragrance is going to work so well in the compliment department. It's a mass appealing scent that turns heads and simply is just different and unique. Quality of this fragrance is also very, very good. No slouch at all. No exceptions were made. They didn't cut any corners. They didn't cheapen it up. It has a very, very nice quality to it from opening to dry down. No alcohol blast in the opening. The vetiver comes across nice and smooth. The incense is a nice, smooth incense. There's nothing about it that is sharp or screechy. It's honestly pretty rounded out and pretty smooth. It's very a polished scent. It's nothing that's clashing together. The notes mesh really well, and it just smells like an expensive-ish fragrance, right? I mean, these do retail for more than what they go for on discounters, and it does smell a bit more expensive than what you pay for it at discounters, which is about $50, which is always a plus. So if you guys want something different, you want to change it up, and just have a fragrance that you can reach for, it's just different than everything else out there, and that you don't have anything that smells like it, check this guy out. Givenchy Gentleman Only. I think this one will really impress a lot of you, and if you've slept on it, maybe this is your first time hearing about it, or maybe you've heard about it and you've been on the fence, I would definitely say go ahead and give this one a shot. Again, this is good if you really know what you're into and you want something a bit different. Give this one a try, and I don't think you'll regret it. So guys, that's pretty much going to do it for me. That's my thoughts on Givenchy Gentleman Only. amazing, amazing scent, hands down. For the price that you pay for this one, it's great quality, it's a great scent, it's a great compliment getter, and it's one where you really can change it up and wear something a bit different in your collection. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this fragrance down below, and again, if you want to pick this one up, I will link it down below as well. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.